Greetings adventurers and welcome back to Adventure Game Show Geek. We're going to do something a little different today. Disney is launching a new fantasy reality hybrid game show kind of thing this Wednesday. It's called The Quest, and it's a reboot of a 2014 American reality show of the same name. I am very excited for it, and I already have thoughts on it and it hasn't even started yet. I'll give it a proper review once it's over, but right now I'm going to do a little preliminary speculation, discuss what I expect to see in it, and where its Achilles heels may lie. Then, once it airs, we can see if and how it lived up to our expectations. I also plan to talk a little bit about reality shows in general and the relationship between them and game shows, as well as the problems that come along with the genre. Sounds cool? Let's go! So, The Quest. It follows 8 teenagers as they travel to the fantastical world of Everrealm, where they will complete a series of challenges to try and fulfill a prophecy and save the land from destruction. But only one of them can be named the one true hero. Sounds pretty dramatic, huh? Immediately, I'm getting Raven vibes, with the whole kids from our world travelling to another world to fight in its battle against evil. Given the fact there's supposed to be royalty in it, I'm going to be specific and pin it down as Raven the Island vibes. The whole emphasis on immersion is very Nightmare, as well as the darkness in its fantasy. And the fact I'm immediately finding all these game shows to compare it to is very ironic, since one of its biggest marketing focuses was how unique and never seen before it was. Yeah, no it's not. The show it reminds me of most has to be another American reality show, Murder in Small Town X. It brought a bunch of people into the midst of a murder mystery adventure. Everyone around them, the townsfolk, the suspects, the host, were in character at all times, and it had a fixed but flexible narrative. So, very similar. It wasn't received all too well, but I personally really liked it. So yeah, The Quest is not unique, but it does seem to mirror some really good shows, so that's promising. As I mentioned, the show is a reboot, but I haven't seen the original. You can find all the episodes available online, but only if you're in America, and if my voice, my interests, and the fact I didn't immediately try and be on this thing hasn't clued you in, I am not American. But what I do know about the original is that it had, and still has, a thriving and dedicated fan base who call themselves the Quest Army. This tends to be a clear sign that a show was really good. Again, see Raven and Nightmare as examples. Also, of note, is that the original contestants were all adults, and this time, they're all kids. It's not the first time a game show for adults has been rebooted for kids. Fort Boyard Ultimate Challenge did the same thing, and it also proved that you do not have to dumb down the challenges either, so I'm really hoping they don't dumb down the challenges this time. Overall, I think the things I'm most worried about are the reality aspects of the show. Reality shows and game shows do have a lot of natural overlap. There's the issue of staging and scripting that runs rampant in both. Sometimes it's necessary for a story-driven game show like the Raven spin-offs. Sometimes you just got to have a bit of scripting in there. You can't have one of the contestants just completely mess up a battle scene between Raven and Neva. That would just be absolutely disastrous. But this shouldn't really be a problem here. The actors have said they were willing to improvise around the contestants. The real ultimatum comes in whether they can improvise well. Then there's the problem in which things are rigged for money reasons. These can be innocent. For example, in Nightmare, some teams were given second chances because they couldn't afford to waste precious studio time on waiting for the other team to arrive. Or it can be straight up unfair rigging, like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Again, this shouldn't be an issue, it shouldn't come up at all really. Unless maybe if a case happens in which it doesn't look like they're going to get their one true hero, but that shouldn't happen, it really shouldn't happen. But the real crossover comes from the fact that both kind of shows are about real people. Real, unpredictable people who are often unfamiliar with how to present themselves properly on TV. This can lead to two main problems. contestant drama, and undermining the world. Contestant drama isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes it can add an interesting B-plot to the overall narrative, like the conflict between Kristen and Jeff in Murder in Small Town X, or the much friendlier Hanso versus the boys they had in the final week of Raven Series 7. On the other hand, it can also be annoying, distracting, time-consuming, and sometimes genuinely distressing to watch, again like Kristen and Jeff, and also most of the clashes in Escape from Scorpion Island. But ultimately, it should be avoided or minimised, because you know the world we live in. Whoever gets deemed as in the wrong is going to be cancelled and harassed by the viewers. And no one deserves that, especially not some kids who just want to have a fantasy adventure. But, according to an article I found, there aren't going to be any eliminations in the series. This should reduce drama by a lot. However, they are still going to crown a one true hero, which is really interesting because I have no idea how they're going to do that without eliminations or anything like that. The second issue, undermining the world, is my biggest concern. A game show will only work if everyone goes all in. It doesn't matter if it's ridiculous, attempting to lampshade it or make fun of it will only ring false and look bad. It's one of the main reasons I don't like the rebooted Crystal Maze as much as the original. Richard Ayoade's hosting may be really funny, but the way he disrespects the maze and just treats it like some regular set or a glorified piece of styrofoam just completely ruins the mysterious, creepy, almost sentient atmosphere the previous host gave it. So yeah, it's just not good. But typically, the people most likely to try and lampshade the show will be the contestants. Teenage contestants in particular. It's no secret that children often get bullied for appearing on game shows. They're bullied for trying, they're bullied for doing badly. Hell, there are even records of contestants being bullied for winning. Call it jealousy, call it insecurity, it's going to happen. So most children are going to want to minimise that as much as possible, and the best way they can do that is by treating the whole thing like a joke. There are a couple of ways you can avoid this. You can use younger children who are more likely to believe in the fantasy. You can use older children who are more secure with themselves. You can use geeky kids who are dying to invest in the magic realm, or theatre kids who know the importance of sustaining a part. Sometimes the best way to get kids to invest in a world is to get them scared by it, like in Project Z or Nightmare. But, as my psychology teacher has told me many times, it's unethical. The bare minimum you can do is just not make them do things that will get a target pinned on their backs. Don't single them out for humiliating tasks, don't make them, I don't know, do a stupid dance or flirt with a troll or anything like that really. Just treat them with general human decency. With the quest, the teenagers seem to be geeks, judging by the very small interview snapshots we saw in the trailer, so hopefully they should buy into the world. I don't know their exact age range, but I do know that at least one of them is 16, which means they're pretty much my age, so they should know how to handle themselves, and also it means that if I was American, I could apply for it. And I mean, it looks so cool, I would love to do something like that. Alas, geography. All in all, the quest looks great. I am so excited to see what happens. All I can do right now is just wait in anticipation. I'll see you again in 8 weeks when the series is over and I can review it properly, but until then, remember, it's only a game, isn't it?